Now, it's always fun to discuss hypotheticals, right? And the hypothetical that I think all of us have been wondering was, would the Buffalo Bills have put up a better fight against the Philadelphia Eagles? And I'm going to go about and tell you guys this, rip the Band Aid off immediately, and tell you I don't think that it would have been any different. And I keep looking at the matchup between the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, and then obviously the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. And one thing that remains persistent for me is that while I believe this Buffalo Bills team would have scored about 30 plus points, I mean, second highest scoring offense in the NFL by itself, I think that Josh Allen would have had a field day and would have taken advantage of more opportunities. My thing is that I don't really trust this Buffalo Bills defense into stopping the Philadelphia Eagles from scoring 40 plus points either. So, in conclusion, I feel like that it would not have mattered if the Buffalo Bills made it to Super Bowl LIX. I still think that this was going to be the Philadelphia Eagles year. And it's funny because I keep asking myself this question. I'm saying, all right, would it have hurt worse if we did ultimately end up beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship and we ended up going 0-5 in the Super Bowl in history? Or would it have hurt worse to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship? It is a dangerous hypothetical to wrap your head around. That's for damn sure. But I wanted today to be largely a Q&A segment on today's episode. Folks, if you are watching the post-record of this video or the replay of this, do keep in mind that I am live each and every single day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and 5:15 p.m. EST. So if you are subscribed, I highly recommend that you consider smashing that bell notification as well, because we're going to have a really fun conversation today and live in the what if world. And spoiler alert, we're going to be living in the what if world quite a bit for the remainder of the offseason, because there are a lot of what if scenarios going into 2024. And then tomorrow we are going to just dive headfirst into a bunch of offseason conversations. That is free agency, maybe a potential franchise tag here and there, but we shall see. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's go on ahead and see how everybody is doing. Cheers. I wish it was a better game, not going to lie, but a win is a win. J-Dog, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You should be pounding your chest, walking around and truly being the Philadelphia Eagles fan that I know you are. Congratulations, man. Belt to ass to the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday. They just were not a match for y'all, right? It's funny because Richie on BetUS TV's The Huddle the other day, he was saying this, and he ultimately ended up saying, you know what? If you want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, have to have an absolutely nasty interior rush. And that's exactly what you did, like right between the defensive tackles and the entire nine. So absolutely incredible. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. It was certainly a thing to watch. Shout out to Teleporting Goalpost, $10. What is going on, man? How you doing? Thank you so much for the donation. It is hard to make the Patreon chat session lately because I train at the same time, but I got a promotion at my job and I am dating an amazing girl named Stephanie. Let's go, Bills. We will be back. Well, shout out to our boy, Staff Boy, and shout out to Stephanie. Congratulations on the promotion, man. No issue whatsoever. We actually ended up revising our overall Patreon call-in segments. We are going to be announcing the changes tonight on the AFC East Roundtable. We still have a call-in section, but let's just say that it is significantly more expensive. However, we still have a genuine Q&A segment, and we also have a voicemail segment in which that we can listen to people rather when it comes into it. But regardless, we sincerely appreciate your continued support over there. Thank you so much for tuning in. You bet Matthew is coming in. Belt to ass, J-Dog. Congratulations, man. Raising that damn Lombardi. We're going to see. King Jamie is saying, if you never make it to the Super Bowl, how would you know if you would have done better? The answer is obviously no. You can't even get past the Chiefs. Come on, man. I wouldn't sell your team that short, Jamie. Like, y'all have been dominating the AFC for what, like 5 out of the last 6 years, like 6 past years by itself. I do think that there are such thing as favorable matchups, right? And I'm not the kind of guy that's going to come out here and say that I think we would have beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I just said that I think that we would have lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. Because number one, I know that Saquon Barkley didn't have a great performance last night, and Kansas City did a great job at containing him. But I think that he would have ran all over this Buffalo Bills team. I think that this defense would not have held them to below 40 points either. I think that they would have won in a shootout as well. But I did like our offense's chances so to be able to score a bit more, especially since we were the second highest scoring offense in the NFL. And there are such things as matchups. And I think one of the matchups was specifically in favor when it came into that. Will there be a video call tier? Lancelot C. So the video call, it's $50 now. So if you want to call in live on all roundtable shows, it's AFC East, that's all division shows, etc. And you want to call in on Wake Up and Ball on the Dan Mitchell show, that is the $50 tier. But now what we're going to be having is a dedicated Discord channel for Q&As. And we're also going to be having a voicemail section, sort of like how podcasts are these days, where like we just listen to a voicemail. That I think is only like the $10 tier or something like that. So that's kind of where we are at in case you guys are interested in taking a look. But again, we will be going on ahead and announcing all of that information for you guys tonight on the AFC East Roundtable. So we've seen what happens when the Chiefs get no help from the refs. So I wouldn't even necessarily say that. I just think that pass rush over in Philly, shout out to Howie Roseman. He built a damn team, right? Like he built a damn team top to bottom, solid run game, made the free agency move or the trade of the offseason, and that was bringing in Saquon Barkley. But that defense was the real story. It goes to show you, and it's something that I really hope that Brandon Beane looks at it, and he's just like, okay, like we need a game-changing pass rusher. Hence why I'm sitting here, and I'm like, dude, for the love of God, give me Myles Garrett. Send over all the first-round picks. I don't care at this point. Philadelphia made some moves last night, and they showed the world that if you want to take down Patrick Mahomes on a regular basis, you have to have an absolutely deadly pass rush. And that's exactly what happened to him when he played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple of years ago, when you have that disruption in the trenches. So I hope that we can only end up taking it. Stopping Barkley was our only upside. So Mahomes threw the ball either in the dirt or in the hands of the Eagles defense like all night. Props to the Eagles. They put their foot on our necks, dude. Hell of a team. And so I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not entirely sure that any team in the AFC, like say, for example, that it was the Bills, the Chiefs, or the Ravens, or whatever AFC team you wanted to pick to potentially be there facing the Eagles, I think that was their game to win. Like they just match up so good. Like they are a top to bottom crazy ass roster. I don't think any AFC team would have stood a chance last night. So to be completely honest with you. Patriots talk. Based on the logo conspiracy for Super Bowl 60, should it be Bills versus Packers because of the yellow? Patriots talk, man. Holy hell, you must have just saw my video. That was largely a troll, so I'm not going to lie to you. If you guys didn't see, so the Super Bowl logo has officially been released. And this was my take on it. And keep in mind, guys, all of my TikTok content and Instagram content and short content, I'm trolling. So like know that. But this is what we kind of have. Hold up. Hold up. Let me go ahead and share my screen real fast so we can take a look at this contraption. But this was my explanation of who I see in the Super Bowl next year based off of the Super Bowl logo. And shout out to me on TikTok, baby. And follow your boy on the TikTok right over here, baby. 108,300. Damn, no flex. I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Super Bowl logo for next year. What does this tell us about the matchup in 2025? Now, many of us know the conspiracy floating around, and shout out to my boys Catch the Blitz for putting this image together for us, of the Super Bowl logo suggesting who is going to be playing. Whether you believe it or not, I mean, come on. The coincidence is absolutely for real. At the Cincinnati Bengals, LA Rams, orange and yellow. Wow. Eagles, Chiefs, had the Eagles colors, Chiefs colors. San Francisco and the Kansas City Chiefs with the Taylor Swift trend that was going on. Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, red and green. And now this monstrosity. Now, many of you are probably looking at this and saying, Dan, this is way too noisy for us to be able to pick two potential opponents. But let me tell you what, I have the case unfolded. As you can see, dominant colors, all right? Pink, blue, a little bit of red right there, and of course, green with the trees. Pink is a red herring. Completely go on ahead and just wipe that out of your mind. But what I want you to pay attention to is the red, the blue, and the green. With that being said, the Super Bowl in San Francisco for the 2025-2026 season will be the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. So I had a little bit of fun with that. Yeah, I had a little bit of fun with that. And I look forward to all the DMs from all the angry 40-year-olds calling me an idiot. You idiot. What are you talking about? Is what it is. So do you think we can restructure some players' salary this offseason to get someone on defense? So, Anthony, you are in luck, okay? Because one particular edge rusher, which I am really hoping that Brandon Beane goes after, just so happens to be Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett, he's still under contract for the Cleveland Browns, but none of his salary is guaranteed. Zero. So what could potentially happen is that this Buffalo Bills team, so we send over a first-round pick this year, a first-round pick the following year, and a second-round pick as well, I'd say, this year. And keep in mind, we have 2 second-round picks. And some of us that like to guard our draft picks like it's the most important thing in the face of the planet, how many more times are we wanting to roll the dice on a rookie edge rusher to bring that sort of production, right? Like we've done it so many times and we still haven't had an edge rusher that has been able to generate 10 plus sacks since 2013. Like you can't discredit the value that Myles Garrett would bring this team immediately, right? So as far as affordability is concerned, I think Myles Garrett makes the most sense for us. Like we could do like Max Crosby, but like he'd be a little more difficult. Maybe Trey Hendrickson would be, I'd say, somewhat intriguing as well, but have no fear. I'm planning on releasing a bunch of videos for all 3 of them on how we can make it work with the cap, how much is going to cost us in draft capital. And so fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gents, because we are officially in off-season talk, and we're going to be having some pretty cool conversations about that. But as far as restructures, yeah, like number one, like biggest one is Josh Allen. Like he's probably due for a massive restructure or perhaps even a new deal, right? Like go on ahead and just give him another mega contract, which makes him a top 3 QB in this league paid, which is very, very likely. We could also restructure a couple of other guys, but have no fear. We are going to be looking at the cap space for not only the Buffalo Bills, but all across the league all off season. So stick around and have those bell notifications turned on, folks, because we're going to be having a damn good time. I'm not happy for Eagles fans. A lot of them have zero class. Jordan S., very, very upset. Yeah. Some high school kid said that he was going to put me in a casket because I picked the Chiefs to win that game. So look at that. Philadelphia. Except for J-Dog. He's the man. I think we would have lost, but it would have been a way closer of a game. Yeah, we would have lost. I do like our matchup offensively and defensively, especially with Josh Allen and especially with our overall run game as well. But is what it is, right? Like we are just grasping for straws at this point, and we didn't make it to the Super Bowl. But again, I will say I genuinely don't believe a single team in the AFC was going to stop the Eagles and beat them in New Orleans last week. Based off of what I saw last night. What if Lamar won MVP? What if Dan dated Bob? There's a lot of what if for Dan. Relax, J-Dog. JT, that's how crazy they are, and Eagles fans will kill each other like the guy on the flagpole and died the next day. It's absolutely insane. Go Bills. Horn Hunter is in the chat showing a little bit of love. J-Dog has a ton of class. He certainly does, man. Shout out J-Dog for always coming in here and showing a little bit of love. When is the jersey giveaway going to be announced? Matthew, thank you for reminding me, my friend. I'm going to do it tomorrow morning. I'm sorry. I actually was at the car dealership all morning, baby, and I totally forgot, but I will announce the winner tomorrow on my morning stream. But your boy ended up, he got himself a car. He got himself a truck, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. I'm sorry, environmentalists. Sorry about that, but your boy had to go on ahead and clean up a little bit. Let me go on ahead and rock this up real fast. Let me show you let me show you boys the goods right here, man. Look at that, baby. Hide your wives, man. Look at that. It's our little GMC truck. I was super happy. I was stuck at the dealership for about 4 or 5 hours since y'all probably noticed that I didn't go live this morning. Rather, Like what I did was I made a pre-recorded video after the fact. However, what I will do is I will announce the winner to the Taron Johnson jersey tomorrow during my morning stream. Okay. I haven't even picked the winner yet, so don't worry about it. We're going to make it happen. Philly roster is ready for poaching. It certainly is. A lot of pending free agents. However, let's take a look after that. Eagles would have beat either team. Bills have a young team, and Eagles have the greatest offensive line. We couldn't even pressure Mahomes. Get Garrett or first, second, two D-line guys, a corner and a safety. I certainly agree with you there. I think the Buffalo Bills need to literally hone in on a very heavy defensive draft, right? I want Myles Garrett / Trey Hendrickson / Max Crosby. F those picks. F those picks, like I've said before. And then afterwards, draft some Walter Nolan action, who's going to be our defensive tackle right in the interior. Solid one tech that I fell in love with in Mobile, Alabama. Some solid safeties. I like Billy Bowman. He is out of Oklahoma. He's a solid free safety. Very good in coverage in what we truly need. And then a corner, a couple of others that we could target. Maybe a free agent. I would like Carlton Davis right out of Detroit. He could be a possibility for us. Or maybe we just go for an Azarie Thomas right in the draft, right out of Florida State. So many different options of where we can go. But I agree with you. We need to go on ahead and like focus heavily on the defensive side of the ball. What year is it? It's a 2024, baby. 2024, dog. Yeah, man. Holy hell. I was excited walking away from that. Anthony, I'll bite, and I'm your dog. Be careful. Oh, my God. We would have lost because our defense sucks, plus no Benford. Yeah. Ideally, well, I mean, not ideally. Unfortunately, we probably wouldn't have had Benford, like, out there. We would have been cooked. Of course, on the defensive side of the ball. I will never say we would have lost because our team hasn't been to the Super Bowl in 31 years, and then you throw in Allen's story, how no one wanted him. That would have been so much drive to win. I think Allen definitely would have put up a fight, but you know what? We're never going to get our answer. So all we can do now is just look forward into 2025, fix this damn defense, and make it work. I feel like you guys would have used your wide receivers better, unlike the Chiefs, and say that you guys are in the Super Bowl. Bills, Travis Kelce had like way too many catches too. Jason, Saquon would have ran all over y'all. I did say that at the beginning of the stream. I do admit that. That said, and the way Philly played, it's hard to think anyone could have beaten them. They were damn near perfect. They certainly were. DJ Reed is also an option for the Buffalo Bills, potentially. It was over by halftime. It was over by the time that pick six happened. Cooper on his birthday. The fact that Cooper DeJean ended up running that in was absolutely hysterical. As a Bills fan, I think we would have put up a better fight in the Super Bowl. And I think we would have had a much better O-line, especially on the tackle side of things than the Chiefs. But we need a pass rush. We certainly do. Yeah, we certainly do. Buffalo could learn from the Eagles win. Eagles overcame the refs. Eagles played tough. Jay, on the first drive where A.J. Brown had a phantom OPI, it pissed off the Eagles so much. They were like, all right, watch this. I remember that. We need a defensive tackle that can clog the middle, make it hard for quarterbacks to step up in the pocket, and a defensive end that can get to the cornerback. Also a good man-to-man corner and a vertical wide receiver. Oh, yeah, most definitely, guys. We are going to be unpacking all of this in detail for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to tell you what. I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what exactly a Myles Garrett trade would look like. How much I would be willing to pay him, what's the draft capital, how we would fit into the Buffalo Bills scheme. And the following day, I'll do Max Crosby. Then the following day, I'll do Trey Hendrickson. Basically, I'm going to be going absolutely nuts on free agency on this channel right now. So if you guys have any requests of free agents that you would like for me to go over, certainly let me know. Just leave a comment right in this video, and I will get to each and every single one. Because as many of us know, folks, it's the damn offseason, and we're going to be going through a lot of potential signings, all right? Because that's all we can talk about right now, because football's over. My heart's broken. But I hope all you fools stick around all offseason, because we're going to be having some fun over here. This is good for Lamar and Josh and maybe Joey B. It looks like an opportunity for new legacies to be cemented. I wouldn't count out the Chiefs just yet. Like, yes, they did lose right to the Philadelphia Eagles, but so they also have an off season to look at, right? But I agree with you, Lancelot. I think we need an elite defensive tackle with Oliver and good to great edge rushers with speed that can contain and make a play when opposing quarterbacks step up in the pocket. Very true. Coleman was defeated over DeJean. Dan, it just goes back to 3 repeating is hard because I feel like this was the most hype from the Chiefs till the 3-peating because no one else has. Maybe. Eagles made it so the refs couldn't call anything. We need to take notes. Take it in. Can you put Bob in your car? Oh, yeah, most definitely, bro. I will put Bob in the whip so many times, dude. He's my best friend, as many of you guys know. And do you think Bean is against these big interior defensive linemen? Like, give us a Tavondre Sweat. Mike, I'll tell you what. I think he is. I really, really think he is. I think Brandon Bean likes, like, more athletic defensive tackles and, like, a true big body, like a Tavondre Sweat or, like, a super big dude, right? Like, there is this defensive tackle that I would love to welcome to this Buffalo Bills team. I believe I forget his last name, but definitely stay tuned for like when I start draft content. He's out of Kentucky. He's absolutely insane. He's like 6'6", big body. He's a real one tech, right? Like he's a solid one tech. But for some reason, Bean just doesn't like those sort of players on the defensive line. I'm not sure if it's Brandon Bean or I'm not sure if it's just a preference with Sean McDermott. I'm not particularly sure. But for some reason, we just don't ever really go for an exclusive one tech, especially in the draft. I like Walter Nolan a lot out of Ole Miss. He could probably play 3 tech too, but he is on the larger side. But for some reason, like Bean in his history hasn't really taken a liking to like those massive big body, like one tech defensive tackles. I don't know why. I hope that he changes his tune a bit, but we're just going to have to see. Here's the thing. That means that we get rid of sort of Taron Johnson. So if y'all are okay with walking away with Taron Johnson, then sure. But so far, that has actually been a recipe for success for the Buffalo Bills. Kenny Pickett was in the Super Bowl before Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Sorry, Dan. Wow, bro. Thank you so much. This offseason should be more about the defensive side of the football. I totally agree. As far as a field stretcher on the wide receiver side, just go to the draft, right? His name is Jalen Royals. He's out of Utah State. He's my favorite prospect. And we will be looking at this guy. I promise you that. If they draft defensive linemen like Williams from Ohio State or Walter Nolan, I won't get mad. Those two are on my big board. And I can't wait to unpack that with you guys. Absolutely. Dominic, we don't need a Myles Garrett. Philly doesn't have a Myles Garrett. And they really only have 2 good defensive tackles and defensive ends that are pretty good. Dan, I would focus on defensive tackles this offseason, see if we can get a game wrecker. So here's the deal. I do agree with you, but a player like Myles Garrett makes your interior defensive lineman that much better, right? As long as you have a game wrecker somewhere on the defensive line, that automatically makes your defensive tackles and other edge rusher automatically open up. They just so happen to have the game wrecker in the interior, right? Now, as far as pending free agents that are in the interior side of the defensive line, I really can't think of anything or any player that would be on the sort of that trade block. And as far as the draft class, it's great, but are we really going to roll the dice and expect a rookie to go out there and put up like numbers like a Jalen Carter? It's tough to say. It's tough to say for me. I think that adding Myles Garrett to it, like that completely opens up so many possibilities for Ed Oliver and whoever we have at the one tech position, Greg Rousseau coming on up. So I get it. But at the exact same time, I've always been kind of afraid of trying to replicate something that works for each and every single team, right? How many times have we seen a team go out there and try to be the New England Patriots, right? Like how many times have we seen people try to take a page out of the New England Patriots book? It always fails. So that each and every single time, right? And even with this Buffalo Bills team, like we've tried to take a page out of the Kansas City Chiefs book of how we ran our offense, right? Where has that gotten us, right? So I feel like as long as you have that game record, you're completely fine. That's kind of where I'm at. I respect Hurts a lot, and I think he's definitely top 7 or at worst top 10. But after the Super Bowl, do you think as Eagles fans he's better than Allen Burrow or Lamar? Brandon Bean should start drafting Georgia players in the draft. Go Dogs. Absolutely. Josh is definitely a top 2 quarterback for sure. So we draft better later, so I'm good with sending picks for Garrett. Me too. Bean drafted a Georgia player in Cook, and look how that turned out. Got to get more Georgia players. Show some respect on the SEC name, ladies and gents. Show some respect on the SEC's name. Your Bills light looks like it is falling. It definitely is. I need to go ahead and fix that a little later. Dang. So are we moving on from Von Miller? That is also a great conversation. I have a lot of videos that I could potentially do. I am so excited to unpack all this information with you guys. I really, really am. But all right, folks, I will tell you what, that is going to wrap it for today. Very short stream, but I am going to be live on the AFC East Roundtable at 6:30 p.m. EST, 5:30 Central. So certainly go on ahead, subscribe over to the AFC East Roundtable. We have a great show for you today. We're unpacking the Super Bowl. We're doing a bunch of announcements of what to expect for the remainder of the offseason. And we have some MVP merch for you Bills fans out there, by the way, too. Just saying. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love each and every single one of you. And I will see you over on the AFC East Roundtable a bit later. Peace.